Hello everybody, Josh12 back here again with another video, and I'm here with another top 5 list. Yes, it's that time of the week again, so let's get into this week's top 5 list. Now, of course, I haven't really done that many top 5s dedicated to Dragon Ball Z in a good number of weeks here, months if you will. It's been a while since I've done a top 5 dedicated to my favorite franchise of all time, if you will, my favorite anime, my favorite anything in the world. So I decided to pick a specific amount of lists dedicated to Dragon Ball Z, and that is, of course, my top 5 favorite and best fights that each character has had in Dragon Ball Z, the anime. Now, of course, I will only be choosing specific characters, which I will name as thus, which is first Goku, Vegeta, then will be followed by Piccolo and Gohan. I will not be choosing any other characters beyond that. Maybe Trunks if I have time in the later months, but as it stands, I'll be sticking to these specific characters and only the anime of Dragon Ball Z, not the movies, not the specials, not Dragon Ball, not GT, not Super, not any of that. So, specifically just the Dragon Ball Z anime. Maybe I'll do separate top 5s to the movie fights or the special fights or Super and so on and so forth. But as it stands, this is how it's going to go. And of course, with all my top 5s, it's subjective, my personal list, my personal thoughts. So of course, in the comment section below, let me know what your top 5 list is of the best fights of said character. But today, this week, we're starting it off with my top 5 Son Goku Fights. Yes, the best and most epic battles that the character of Son Goku, the lead, the protagonist, the main hero of Dragon Ball, we're getting down with his top 5 fights. So let's end the babble. Let's end the rambling and get to this top 5. Comment number 5 has to go to Goku versus Majin Vegeta. Now that has to be the first and biggest epic battle within the Buu saga, and for me personally, this was, as growing up as a Dragon Ball fan, this was the most epic thing in my life at the time, because this was this is the sequel, it's the rematch to one of the most epic battles in anime history, which is Goku versus Vegeta, and we followed these characters for so many years, so many episodes, so many sagas in between the Saiyan saga to the Buu saga, and we're finally getting to see the rematch. Vegeta has become evil. He's ready to kick some ass. Goku's like, I don't want to do this, but you know what? I gotta freaking just end it already. We gotta end this rivalry. We gotta set the record straight. And it was an epic battle of biblical proportions. Obviously, because it's at number 5, it's not as big as the original fight. However, it's still a pretty badass fight. Goku at Super Saiyan 2, Majin and Vegeta at Super Saiyan 2, just battling each other out in the wastelands as they always do, just destroying the hell out of mountains. I mean, I'm surprised the Earth still stands. I'm surprised you know what, when you think about it realistically, I'm surprised the Earth in Dragon Ball Z still has mountains after so many collateral damage to, you know, Earth's core after these two characters battling each other from like 10 years in between. But regardless of any of that, it's still epic and awesome, and to see two Saiyan characters battling each other after so many years of watching them improve from their initial fight was epic and awesome. But with that being said, and moving off of that, going to number 4 on this list has to go to Goku versus Perfect Cell. Now, obviously, this was also a very tentpole epic battle within the Cell saga. Perfect Cell was a major threat, and his main purpose was to prove that he was the best within a world tournament that would declare him the strongest on Earth, and of course, the universe that, you know, the Earth is surrounded by. And of course, his first battle, or at least his first serious battles, if you exclude Hercule and the rest of his goons, his numbskull goons, it is of course against Goku. And Goku versus Perfect Cell is one of the best technical fights in Dragon Ball Z, at least in my opinion. Besides other fights that I'll get into later, it's one of the best technical fights because they're just completely going at it. They're at the peak at their freaking skill. They're just killing it. And it's so freaking epic to see these two characters who have trained, who have transformed into the pinnacle of fighting potential in the series at that point in time. And it's just awesome. I mean, Perfect Cell, Goku, they did some really epic stuff in between the time that we got to see them fight. I mean, that instant transmission Kamehameha blast was hands down one of the greatest moments in Dragon Ball Z history that Goku pulled off. And It was just epic. Granted, it's an ending that really, would have been more epic if Goku actually defeated Perfect Cell, but of course he had to lend it off to Gohan to take, off, obviously, the mantle of the lead of the series until, obviously the Buu Saga and subsequent series like Super pretty much destroyed the character that is Gohan. But with that being said, that's a top 5 list for another time. Let's get into number 3 on this list, which has to go to Goku versus Kid Buu. Yes, Goku versus Kid Buu is the last great battle of Dragon Ball Z. After that, it's pretty much just filler and the ending sequences of Dragon Ball Z. And I think the great thing that goes into Goku versus Kid Buu is the fact that they finally had the ability to destroy the shit out of each other, excuse my language, but destroy the shit out of each other without any real collateral damage to any living being behind them. Because the thing about Dragon Ball Z that people need to understand with the prior fights is that they're really containing their true potential in the fights, especially Goku, because he's trying his hardest not to obviously destroy the planet, and he's also not trying to hurt anybody who's around. So that's the thing that you have to keep in mind with the battles of Dragon Ball Z, is that, in most cases, they're holding back their full potential and power. This, however, was the first real over-the-top fight that really, they threw that out the window. Everyone was gone. They were battling in an abandoned planet. An abandoned alien planet out in the distance where no one could get hurt in the Kai's world. I mean, come on, that's just freaking epic. And of course, Kid Buu was showing stuff that we never seen before. Goku was going Super Saiyan 3. He had the help of Vegeta, Hercule, Dende, not to mention various other people across the universe to help out defeat this son of a bitch. Excuse my language once again. However, it was just amazing to see that. It was just a great moment in Dragon Ball Z history, and it's hands down one of the most over-the-top and epic battles within Dragon Ball Z. But with that being said, and done, let's get into number 2 on this list, which has to go to one of my personal favorite fights of all time, which is Goku versus Frieza, which is hands down the longest and most epic fight of Dragon Ball Z. And if I'm not mistaken, it is actually counted down the longest fight within any fight in Dragon Ball Z, and of course is the longest 5 minutes of my life, considering the battle was supposed to technically take place within like 5 minutes, and it's like 5 years almost, because that's how much it took to freaking air every single episode and continuously play off this fight of a guy who's just trying to defeat this alien asshole who's destroying freaking planet Namek. So it is what it is, but overall, as it stands, it's an epic fight of biblical proportions. Goku was taken to his limits, and then he went over them and became a Super Saiyan for the first time, kicking ass, just destroying Frieza. Frieza coming back with a whole bunch of crazy nonsense. He was killing people. He was destroying the planet simultaneously, fighting Goku. It was an awesome battle, and it's just one of my favorite battles that nostalgia-wise, continues to live up as a great battle because of how much I saw it as a youngster, if you will, as a young adolescent growing up. Is one of those things that you just continuously saw all the time because it was just so rerunnable, I think is the best way I can put it. I saw it so many times, it's just impossible not to love it. And also, as it stands, there's just so many great conversations and set pieces within that planet. A lot like the Goku versus Kid Buu fight, this was a fight where Goku can go all out because he was fighting a character, a villain, in a somewhat abandoned planet, and of course a destructive planet which was about to explode and implode within itself. So that is just awesome with it itself. But with that being said, before I get to my number 1 pick, let's put out some honorable mentions of Goku's greatest battles and fights that did not get on this list but are amazing. Of course, as follows: Goku versus Raditz, Goku versus Nappa, Goku versus Captain Ginyu and the Ginyu Force, Goku versus Android 19, Goku versus Pikkon, Goku versus Majin Buu and Super Buu, and of course, if we can include fusions, Goku and Vegeta fused, Vegito fighting Super Buu. But with that being said, that's pretty much my honorable mentions for Goku fights in Dragon Ball Z. With that being said, let's get to my number 1 pick, which of course, if you've known my channel and have known me as a Dragon Ball Z fan for some time now, you already know what's coming. Goku versus Vegeta, the original fight. Hands down, the greatest fight in Dragon Ball Z or in Dragon Ball history, in my personal opinion, is hands down the greatest fictional fight in all of history, in all of anime history alone. Granted, I could get some heat for that. I could get some callbacks from a lot of people calling me out as a DBZ fanboy, which doesn't hurt my feelings, but some people think it is. But whatever. It stands. I love this fight. It pretty much is my childhood. That is my childhood. Goku versus Vegeta is my childhood. That fight was amazing. It's the first thing that really made me go, okay, this is the shit, and I need to watch this for the rest of my life. And that's basically what happened. It's just an amazing fight. The pacing, the animation, the artwork, the set pieces, the amazing feats and abilities that these characters were doing at the time was awesome. The Kaioken, the Super Kamehameha, Gallic Gun, Great 8 transformations. There was a lot of crazy epicness that went into this fight that pretty much blew my little brain and continues to blow my freaking little brain out the window. It's just an awesome epic fight and is hands down, as I stated, the best fight in Dragon Ball Z or the Dragon Ball franchise and in all of anime history. Granted, once again, you can call me out, but I don't care. My statement stands, damn it. But with that being said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed this top 5 list of Son Goku Fights, the top 5 best and my personal favorite Son Goku Fights. Of course, next time I'll give you my top 5 Vegeta fights, and we'll see what happens there. But with that being said and done, comment below. Let me know what you personally think of the top 5 best fights that Goku's ever had in Dragon Ball Z. And if you want to include the movies and the specials as well, you can as well in the comment section below. But as it stands, this has been my top 5 list. Always personal, always subjective, but let me know what you think. Shameless plug time! Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Josh12.